I'm happy that you're on the program. I was afraid that you weren't going to come on. I get the sense that you're not happy with me, David. Is that accurate?
It's not that I'm not happy with you. I just don't deal with a lot of people like you. You know what I mean? On a daily basis, I try to stay away from that. You're a very sarcastic dude. You know, you're worried about your show. You know what I mean? And you do what you got to do to sell your shit. You know, like I'm a businessman. I understand the nature of business. I'm not like your normal lumbering fucking idiot that puts on a pair of 4-ounce gloves and swings. You know, so I get a lot of shit. You know, I can see a lot of what goes on.
Why do you say some sarcastic? Why do you think I'm sarcastic and don't have respect?
I mean, I didn't say that you didn't have respect. I mean, like, that's up to you. I mean, like, I just think that, like, you know, you're media. You know, you do what you have to do. You know, like, this is the way that it's always going to be between athletes and media, or fighters and media. You know, you guys are always going to have strong opinions, but don't know shit about fighting, really. And, you know, that's just the way it goes, you know. And people give you, you know, people value your opinions because, you know, you're able to talk to the fighters and create stories, you know. So that's just the way it goes, you know. I think that the last time that we talked, I told you a life story, you know, like that was like, you know, you asked me how I started fighting and stuff like that. And, you know, I just noticed the way that you headlined it, you know what I mean? You know, you talked about, you know, you headlined it with crackheads and chickens, but, like, you know, that wasn't the moral of my story. The moral of my story was, it's like, you know, I was able to get, like, rescue, or, like, if you would have you, like, you know, some kind of divine intervention or some kind of intervention from a guy who was just out on his luck, you know what I mean? And, it's just very amazing the way, like, a lot of media, like, you know, what they use to headline depending on what you tell them.
No, I agree with that. And I take full responsibility for that, even though I did not write that article. It is on my site, and, you know, I consider myself to a certain degree maybe the face of the site, but I just want to make clear that I did not write that or write that headline, but I'll still take responsibility because it was my interview. And I'm sorry that you feel that way about it. I got the sense, though, even after that we were...
It's cool, man. It's cool. I know the nature of the beast, man. We can just get on with the show, you know. I get it. You know, we don't even have to go on into a personal thing. You understand what you do, and I understand what I do very clearly. Sure. You're a very intelligent man. I am too. You know, we don't have to go back and forth.
No, but I think it's interesting because after my interview with Luke Rockhold, I got the sense that's when I really got the sense you were upset because you posted that video, and I wasn't sure if you were referring to me as a punk ass or Luke as a punk ass. So I wanted to clear that up and try to, you know, clear the air with you because I do have a lot of respect for you. You've done a lot in this sport.
Right. I mean, like, you know, I was referring to Luke, and when I referred to you, I said, you know, on your boyfriend show, I didn't really listen to it, but people were telling me how much you were admiring his eyes and, like, you know, talking about, like, his features and things like that. So, you know, that's just something that came to mind. It was natural. It wasn't something that was premeditated. I usually am a kind of guy that speaks from the heart. I don't sit down and sulk and think about what I'm going to say. It just comes right off and rolls off the tongue.
Fair enough. But we're cool then, right? I mean, I feel like that because you're on the show, that's kind of a symbol of the olive branch. Like we're on pretty good terms. Is that fair to say?
Hey man, we're on pretty good terms. Now, I don't hate you. I understand the nature of the beast just like you understand it, and the show goes on, man. You know.
Okay.
Regardless of what I think or not, you know, like I said, we don't have to go back and forth. We can talk about what's pressing, you know, and what's pressing is this fight. You know?
Yeah. This is a big opportunity for you. What was your reaction, David, when you found out that they were giving you Luke Rockhold next in the main event?
Jumped up and down like a wild Indian. No, I'm just joking. No, I just, this is something that I wanted. I'm a big game hunter. You know, I like to get up for big fights. I like getting up for fights that seems that are challenging. I like when people think I'm not going to win. You know, I've been in a situation many times. I believe the last time I talked to you, it was the Yushin Okami fight. You know, and everybody was like, "This fucking guy's not going to beat this guy," and I told you I was going to beat him.
Yes.
I told you I was going to knock him out, you know, and that's exactly what I did, you know. So, I mean, I've been in this situation before. It's just another day in the office for me. This is my 25th fight. If I don't got my faculties together upstairs mentally or physically by this point in my fucking career, I might as well hang him up, you know. You know, so I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to do. I know exactly what I got to do. I know exactly what I'm going to do to him. And I understand the things that I need to be mindful of. I'm not going to be, you know, retarded and just go in there and rush at him, like, you know, recklessly, but I understand what it is that I got to do and how to get the job done.
And by the way, we actually spoke in Dallas after your last win in the UFC. So lest you forget that we spoke not that long ago. And is it fair to say, though, David, that you were a little disappointed? You seemed in the moment down, but afterwards, did you change your stance on the fight over Jutko? Or?
No, man. No, man, I was still disappointed, but then I took it for what it was and I won. I was happy that I won, obviously. You know, you lose. If you go out there and you're the most exciting fighter of the night and you lose, guess what, Ariel? Me and you know you get half a fucking check. Unless you got some kind of special deal with your pay, you're still getting half a check. So, you know, you get a pat on the back for being exciting, but, you know, you're getting half your fucking money.
That's right.
And that's not fucking good business for me. Well, you know, as far as that fight goes, you know, yeah, I wanted to finish that kid, you know. I didn't expect anything else. I think that, like, with my skill set, I wanted to when I got in there, you know, he presented a lot of more problems than I anticipated. And the way that I trained for him was so specific, and I didn't train for him in a varied amount of ways like I did for Luke. So to where if one thing went wrong, I can just, adapt to something else. I had to adapt on the fly in that fight, and I was able to. But that kid's tough. You know, he's going to be around for a while. You know, he knows how to win.
When Luke was on the show around a month ago, he said that he thinks that you question yourself a lot. That at this level, he said, quote, you can't question yourself. Quote, I'm going to eat him up. I'm going to push him to that breaking point. He's going to feel the pressure. He can't keep up with me. What do you make of these comments? He says, and he continued to say that he thinks that you doubt yourself, that you question yourself throughout the fight. What do you make of that? That's kind of a specific thing to say about your opponent, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do doubt myself sometimes. You know what I doubt, Ariel? I doubt, like, sometimes, like, I sit there and I'm such an analytical person that, like, when I get into these fights, sometimes I make it a chess match when sometimes I don't have to be. I also have, like, another side of me, and that it comes out in some fights at certain times, sometimes I just need to just go out there and blank out and just kill somebody, you know what I mean? So sometimes I just got to stop doubting that, and I just got to let it go and blank out. But sometimes my carefulness makes me follow game plans, strategy, those kind of things, But as far as doubting my abilities and my conviction and my techniques, I mean, I don't think so at all, man. And, this kid's got to tell himself whatever he's got to tell himself to get himself up. He can think what he wants to think, but he's going to feel it, when we get in there. I mean, I'm going to meet him in there, and we're going to fight. You know what I mean? This is happening. I know he's nice and tucked away in Pittsburgh right now. I feel bad for all of the people who are suffering from Hurricane Irma. And I know that they were able to get him and a few of the guys that are fighting on that card out of Florida in time. And I'm glad, because that was my only concern. I just wanted to make sure that he was nice and safe and that he doesn't have any injuries. I don't want to hear any excuses from this kid after I do what I do to him, because this is, it's not personal. It's just business. It's just business. It's not personal. But I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear, I took too much of this, or like it wasn't enough of this, or I didn't take him serious. I didn't do this, you know what I mean? Like, I'm letting him know that I'm a dangerous motherfucker to get in there with, So please take me serious. So when you go in there, give me an A game. I want you to fight the best and the hardest that you can fight. I want you to kick at me and punch at me the hardest that you can. I want you to try to I want you to pull your A game out in wrestling, submission, whatever you got to do. I want you to do the best of it and do the most of it, because I don't want to hear no excuses.
What do you make of Luke at this point in his career? Because he hasn't fought since losing that fight to Bisping a year and a half ago, and we weren't quite sure when he would come back, how he would come back, how he would look. It's always interesting to see a guy after he loses the belt, and especially in that fashion, how he responds. It's been so long. What do you make of him at this point? What do you think you're going to see from him on Saturday?
I mean, he's going to come out and try to establish his dominance. He's going to try to run his alpha male shit on me, and I'm going to shut that shit down, obviously. But, like, I think that in that fight with Bisping, the motherfucker slipped up, You can't go out there and take anybody lightly. See, that's the thing with me. I come from a different background than Luke, and I don't have that kind of indoctrination that he has, I come from, I come from the fucking streets, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, with me, I don't take anybody lightly. Ariel Helwani, if they put you with a pair of gloves in there, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking train for you, you know what I mean? I'm going to train for you just same way I train for Luke Rockhold or any other fight, because you're a fucking man, you know what I mean? And you got the capability to fucking hurt somebody if you get angry enough, So, like, that's what I think of him. I think that, he's a tough opponent, you know what I mean? Like, I respect him enough to have trained for him the way that I trained for him, and that's about the most respect that this motherfucker's going to get from me. He's not getting no more respect. I've already given him enough respect by training him training for him as hard as I have, that is respect enough. That is respect enough. When I go in there, I'm going to be very, very disrespectful to him.
This is your 25th pro fight. None bigger than this one. Do you feel like it's all coming together for you here? Like it all led to this moment?
It really is, and I feel like my first fight back in the UFC was almost like it's similar to like my fish tank. I have a very aggressive fish tank, a really big fish tank, and usually when I put a new predator fish in there, a new cichlid fish, it's on paper it's supposed to be able to match it with the rest of the fish that are in there, but it goes through an acclimation point where it needs to take a day to acclimate, and sometimes you see the fish breathing heavy. It's not its normal self. When you wake up the next day, you see the fucking fish that you thought was going to die and not make it chasing the other fucking fish around, So that's what I needed to go through in the UFC is like a new set of staff, a new set of media people, new ring announcer, new people who do the commentary, color commentary, and I just needed to be like, break back into that. That's just like the kind of person that I am. I've done that in front of 20,000 people on a pay-per-view card. So like, I've already been headlining fights before. So it's not, I don't like look at it like, oh, I'm so happy. And, like it's just another day in the office. I know exactly what I got to do, and I got to go in there and I'm going to win.
Did a part of you say to yourself, let me just get the victory out of the way. Let me get back on track in the UFC. Not so much play it safe, but let me worry about getting the W by any means necessary. And then the next fight, you'll see the real David Branch.
Well, the thing with me, definitely, you got to get the W. The W means everything because nobody's going to remember you if you fucking lose. Nobody fucking gives a fuck about you if you fucking lose.
Right.
You got to get the W, and I got to get paid. So like I got to win. So definitely, I wanted to do that, and it's also a business standpoint. Like I look at it like this: if there's more for me at the top, I've always reserved myself to a certain point in my career. I've had 25 fights. I'm going on 11 years fighting MMA now, Ariel. And I feel like a lot of fighters, they put so much of themselves and they take so much punishment earlier on in their career that when they get to the championship level or their championship run where it's time to really start making that bread, their bodies can't take it no more. Their brain can't take it no more. They got a bunch of scar tissue. I haven't suffered that kind of damage because I've always been careful. Now that I'm on this championship run, now I can go in there and be a fucking fool. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have fun on Saturday because I've been able to preserve myself all this time for 24 fights leading up to this one. So now, because this one means something, and now this is a money fight, and this means more money, now I can go out there and act a goddamn fool, you know what I'm saying, and let people know, like, yo, man, you don't really know what Branch is going to show up, depending on, like, the business situation and the money involved, is how this kid's going to perform. He's a consummate professional. You're not gonna go and abandon interview with somebody who's a real big star in MMA to go to some amateur show and give a guy an interview there, would you? No, exactly.
I love this. I love this, David Branch. You're fired up. Are you usually this fired up on fight week? You seem like you have a healthy chip on your shoulder, not the bad kind of chip, but the healthy kind of chip on your shoulder. Is this common for you? I love this.
This is me, man. This is the person that I've grown into. I stay positive. You know what I mean? I gotta, just put things into perspective sometimes. And, I gotta concentrate on each task that I have in front of me, and I have this task in front of me. I have a few tasks in front of me and that I gotta take care of. And I take care of those things, take care of this thing. Like you got to knock down one goal at a time. You can't get caught up in being too hype. It's not about being hype or anything like that. It's just being present and being in the moment. You have to understand that your engagement and what you're getting yourself into, and you need to be a little lively about that.
It's great.
If you're not, you're in the wrong business.
I feel like the UFC made a big mistake by not bringing you out to Pittsburgh to do that media tour. Why didn't they send you as well?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what their plans were and stuff like that. They're just getting acclimated with me as well. I had a bad rap in my first run in the UFC, but I'm a completely different fighter, a completely different human being, a completely different animal. So it's hopefully they'll be able to get more acclimated and used to this one, and they like what they see. I am what I am. I'm steak and potatoes, man. I'm not gonna change. I'm a grown fucking man. I'm 35 years old. I'm not one of these fucking young kids that's going to do too much fucking sucking ass. and shit like that, you know what I mean? Begging on fucking TV for money and all of that bullshit, you know? I ain't doing all of that, you know? When you get to a certain age, you just cut the fucking bullshit, you know? And that's just where I'm at right now, you know?
Man, I love this. This is incredible. Where has this David Branch been?
I don't know. He's been somewhere tucked away, man, under the radar.
Wow.
He's been there, though.
Can I take some credit here? I feel like I brought out the fire in you. I feel like I brought out the beast in you. I'm going to take all of this credit. How about that?
You can take as much credit as you want, Ariel.
Do you feel, David, that if you win on Saturday, that you'll be next in line for a title shot? Is that possible?
I don't like to think too far down the road, but to answer your question, Ariel, I mean, the way that I want to win this fight and the way that I intend to win this fight, I think that there should be no doubt about it, you know, because Luke was the former middleweight UFC champion. You know,
yeah.
Everybody's been saying for years, you know this, how would this kid do? How would Branch do in the UFC? How would he do? All right, like we can even erase my last fight, or we can bring it up. Okay, I won in the UFC against the top 10 guy. That's the answer to everybody's question. But now everybody's like, okay, he won, but like, now how is he going to do against an elite guy? Okay, what about that? Okay, now this guy was a former champion. All right, like what the fuck else? I mean, this is a tough kid. You know what I mean? That's why I want to fight. I wanted to fight him. When I got the name, when I heard that I had the opportunity to fight him, I was like, hell motherfucking yes. Hell yes. This is the kind of fight that I fucking want to do right here, and I'm going to be able to, like, you know, get it on. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be able to rumble with this kid because he's going to want to bring it, and I'm going to bring it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of fight that I know that he can't beat me in. You know what I'm saying? He can't fight me a certain way because he doesn't know how to do it, you know? And I'm used to that shit. I've been doing it for years. You can't have a slow start doing that. You can't have a late start doing it. So when I got the opportunity to fight this kid, you know, I was very happy, you know?
Does it bother you when people say you're boring? Do you work to try to shed that label?
Hell no. Do you ever fucking see Andre Ward's fight? And when he wins and they sit there and say, oh, how boring he is, you think that motherfucker gives a fuck? Hell no. You know, Bernard Hopkins has been getting accused of being boring for years. I mean, I hate to take it to boxing and stuff like that, but these are combat athletes. Nobody gives a fuck about that, man. I'm concerned about the motherfucking W, you know? My record is 21-3. And you think that that's attributed to me giving a fuck about people fucking how they feel about me fighting? Hell no. I'm going out there and I'm gonna fucking win. I'm gonna win. I'm not a circus elephant. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of these fucking kids out there trying to please some other motherfucker who never fucking balled up his fist in his life to do a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to win by any means necessary. And yes, I want to put on the value of entertainment, but that's just dependent on the style of the fight. You can't control that.
But isn't there a part of you that acknowledges that the more exciting the fight, the more fan-friendly, the more fans you have leads to more money?
Yes, but a part of me as being a former world champion, a two-time world champion, and having the experience in that is knowing that if your ass becomes the fucking champion, then you're going to be able to get the money. That's where the fucking money is. That's called sure shot money, you know? Now, you can go out there and gamble if you fucking want to, and you can try to be fucking Mr. Hero if you want, you know what I mean? And go out there guns and go trailblazing if you want to. You can play that road. Yes, you can. You can do the Rocky mode and go out there and go blow for blow with a motherfucker on your early in on your career, but you're gonna waste yourself. I'm not telling people how to fight, but for me, I always felt that like I was gonna waste myself for moments like this. Now I'm on a championship run, and me being a former champion, getting paid more than everybody, I understood the value of that, and I understood that becoming the champion is where the sure shot money is. That's where the money is. No matter what, no matter even if your fight is fucking boring or not, if you're the champion and you win, you're getting paid. You know what I mean? You know, obviously you can take more risks when you're at that level because you're involved in pay-per-view buys, so you're going to be able to be more exciting. Who the fuck wants to be fucking exciting when the fucking who in their right mind wants to be that exciting when you risk losing half your fucking money, but you're going out there for all the fucking risks?
Yeah,
you're going out there for all the danger, right? You're going out there for all the danger, and then your ass gets fucked up because you're trying to be exciting. And you get half your fucking money. And they say, good job, son. We'll put you back on. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm not going for that. Hell no. That's not good business for me, you know? That doesn't sound like a good business transaction. I don't think that you would do that. I don't even think that you put on a pair of gloves. But if you did put on a pair of gloves, you wouldn't want to do it like that.
You don't think I have it in me?
I don't know what you got in you, but I don't think that you would want to do it like that.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
I've been saying for a long time. They need to do away with the show money, the win money. You step foot in that cage, you should be getting everything that it says on your contract. None of this incentive anymore for exciting fight.
Hey, listen, man. I'm not trying to make a wave on how these fighters are getting paid. This is how it is. I accept it. Okay, boom, I'm on with it. I ain't fucking trying to be no part of no whole movement or anything like that, or about fighters, because that's not my spiel here. I'm just letting you know, for me personally, how I feel. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm not trying to
But it does bring up an interesting point.
I mean, you bring up an interesting point. What I'm trying to say is what I said. You know what I mean? And what I'm trying to say is that I'm not going out there in the early part of my career. You asked me, about being exciting.
Sure.
And that was one of my reasons. I'm not going to go out there and risk more than I have to when I know that the objective and my short shot money is from winning. Okay? So that was my reason. You know what I mean? I'm not, it is what it is, man. The sport's the way it is. I love the sport. Yes, things could be more fair, but we don't live in a fucking fair world, And that's just the way it is, But this is it, I'm just giving you my spiel for me, me as a fighter, David Branch. I'm speaking for myself.
I have to say, David, I feel like a massive weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I feel so happy now that you came on the show, that we talked it out. I feel like a big lesson can be learned throughout the world from what just transpired here. I thought that you weren't going to show up. I thought that you were upset. And I'm really happy that you came on, and this was a phenomenal interview. I want more of this, David Branch. Can we get you in studio next time you're in New York? Can you come visit us?
Not a problem, Ariel.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you, David. All the best to you. Thank you for coming on. Really looking forward to the fight on Saturday. Good luck against Luke Rockhold.
Likewise. Thank you.
All right. There he is, David Branch. Holy smokes. Wow. That was incredible. If you weren't excited for Saturday night, go back and listen to Luke's interview a couple of weeks ago, and then this interview. I mean, the return of Luke Rockhold is interesting in its own right. But this David Branch, I have to rethink my plans for Saturday. I was all in on Triple G Canelo. Give me David Branch versus Luke Rockhold now. Holy smokes. That was unbelievable. Can we please promote this guy like this? You can have the clip, UFC. Take it. Do what you want with it. Get this man in the Pittsburgh media. Sell this damn thing out.